This is One TV live from Athens. You are watching News at 5. I'm Yanni Moutsios. These are the top stories. 2 expatriates were shot dead and 2 others severely wounded in an incident that took place on Sunday evening in the village of Graninta in eastern Ukraine. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz travels to Kiev today as Western leaders voiced concerns of a Russian invasion of Ukraine that could happen at any moment. New findings on the unexplained death of the 3 girls of the same family in Patras. Last suspect of the killing of the 19-year-old boy Akis Kambanos turns himself in. One more suspect for the killing of the 19-year-old Akis Kambanos turned himself in earlier this morning. The suspect is the last out of the 12 persons who have been identified as members of the hooligan squad that has severely beaten and fatally wounded the 19-year-old football fan Faris in Thessaloniki on February 1st. The suspect, who has previously been identified by other suspects as Dinos, is believed to have been driving one of the cars involved in the fatal attack. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old suspect who was last week extradited to Greece by the Albanian authorities is expected to appear before court on Monday. The suspect, who fled to the neighboring country after the killing, has claimed he was not directly involved in the murder. A total of 10 people are so far in custody over the murder. Coming up next, 2 dead and 2 others heavily wounded in Ukraine following a row in a local tavern with Ukrainian soldiers. The German Chancellor Olaf Scholz traveled to Kiev today as Western leaders voiced concerns of a Russian invasion of Ukraine could happen at any moment, sending stock markets tumbling and the price of oil soaring. On the eve of his departure, Scholz said that any Russian attack would lead to tough sanctions that we have carefully prepared and which we can immediately put into force. These trips are about how we can find a way to ensure peace in Europe, he said. Scholz and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky talked about how Germany could help stabilize Ukraine's economy after fears of an imminent war took a toll on its currency. Ukraine's ambassador in London, Vadim Pristaiko, suggested to the BBC that Kiev might consider shelving its NATO plans if pushed to it. Scholz said that Germany is the best financial supporter of Ukraine on a press conference following the end of the meeting with President Zelensky. Ukrainian president appeared optimistic that there is still place for diplomacy, whereas Sergei Lavrov has called on to Putin to lean on diplomacy. Scholz said he and Zelensky had spoken about sanctions and the importance of preventative measures, adding that there are no good reasons for the activities on the Ukrainian border. The sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine is not negotiable. We expect Russia to take clear steps to resolve the situation. Zelensky, meanwhile, has said that Ukraine's security is the security of all of Europe. While Russian military officials say that Russia is ready to fire foreign ships and submarines enter its waters, German reinforcements arrive in Lithuania to reinforce numbers in Baltics. The new deployments include reconnaissance and artillery troops and medics from units throughout Germany, as well as around 100 howitzer and other vehicles, with arrivals expected to continue throughout this week. It is a strong signal that Germany is willing and capable of reinforcing the battle group immediately, as needed, Lieutenant Colonel Daniel Andrei, German commander of the NATO troops in Lithuania, told reporters. 2 expatriates were shot dead and 2 others are severely wounded in an incident that took place on Sunday evening in the village Graninta in eastern Ukraine. The shooting happened when a group of Ukrainian soldiers walked into a local tavern where the expatriates and other locals enjoyed a drink. The soldiers, according to the local press, rowed with the owner of the tavern over a trivial cause, an event which triggered the reaction of the customers. Ukrainian soldiers opened fire towards those present and killed expatriates and heavily injured 2 others. Greek Foreign Minister expressed its condolences to the families of the victims, as well as their wishes for a speedy recovery of the injured. Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Dendias has asked to speak on the phone with his Ukrainian counterpart, Dmytro Kuleba, in order to emphasize the imperative need to protect the Greek community in Ukraine. A statement issued by the Foreign Ministry on Monday also advised Greek citizens not to travel to Ukraine. It also urged those who have not left the country to register their details with the Greek embassy in Kiev. Staff at the Greek embassy in Kiev have been limited to those necessary, whereas staff at the Consulate General of Mariupol will be strengthened. Coming up next, The sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries must be respected and protected. The sovereignty of Greece over these islands is not in question, says Nikos Dendias. Police investigators examined the case of the unexpected death of 3 kids belonging to the same family in Patras. Following the sudden death of the 3 girls, Attorney General ordered a full-scale investigation into the reason that caused the loss of the young kids. The latest of the victims, Georgina, aged 9 years old, had a pacer planted in her heart following an unexplained event which caused a loss of consciousness related to muscular convulsions with no apparent reason, child cardiologist Yanni Moutsios said on a TV interview. The doctor who examined young Georgina said the girl was taken to the Rio hospital in Patras, where medical tests showed no sign of medical dysfunction. Both doctors and the family of the girl requested that a defibrillator should be planted into Georgina's heart in order to secure her well-being by avoiding any risk of arrhythmia, Papagiannis said. Coming up next, now if you are looking to marry in a ceremony underwater, Alonissos may be the right place for you. Mayor of the Greek island says Alonissos is open for underwater wedding ceremonies. Greek Foreign Minister Nikos Dendias met earlier with US Ambassador Jeffrey Pyatt on Monday. The 2 diplomats held talks over the strategic cooperation between the 2 NATO allies and on latest developments in Eastern Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean in light of provocative statements by Turkish officials, the ministry said. State Department rejected Ankara's claims as unfounded, challenging Greece's sovereignty over its islands in the Eastern Aegean on Friday. The sovereignty and territorial integrity of all countries must be respected and protected. The sovereignty of Greece over these islands is not in question, said a US State Department spokesman a day after Turkish Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu cited the treaties of Lausanne in 1923 and Paris in 1947 to state that sovereignty of these islands was conditional on Greece not militarizing them. American Ambassador Jeffrey Pyatt affirmed US solidarity with Greece against Turkish claims, disputing the country's sovereignty over its Eastern Aegean islands during the meeting with his Greek counterpart Nikos Dendias. Now, if you are looking for an original wedding ceremony, Alonissos may be just the right place for you. The mayor of the Greek island, part of the Sporadis complex of island with the crystal clear waters and the lively nightlife, is open for underwater ceremonies, according to the mayor of the island. For this purpose, a video call was made with a group of divers, including the mayor of Alonissos, who is now able to perform weddings and ceremonies underwater. In the video, the team dives to the impressive seabed of Alonissos and promotes the new pioneering service with a special slogan, Alonissos, I love you deeply, originally captured underwater. The diving team also included the president of the tourism committee, Maria Agalu, who had recently edited the first underwater marriage proposal that took place on the island. An underwater wedding on our island is a great way to exchange vows all year round and does not require any special skills and knowledge from the couple nor unreasonable expenses, said. That's all from us. Join us again tomorrow at the same time. Next news update in Greek at 6 o'clock. Goodbye for now.